Jimmy G tears his ACL and the 49ers are all but done this year. But more importantly, why the heck is this guy laughing? He's pissing me off. Let's cut this intro short and go straight to the waivers because I know you... Whoa! Crap. That was close. What's going on, fantasy football fans? My name's Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. These are my waiver wire pickups for week 4. This video is sponsored by Pro Football Focus. They watch every play of every player. Their grades are awesome. I personally love the wide receiver cornerback matchup chart. I love looking at their weekly matchups. And now they have PFF Fantasy, which is a trustworthy source. I would not promote these guys if I didn't trust them, if they weren't so well respected. Make sure to get PFF Edge today. Get full access for PFF's player projections, fantasy draft resources, matchup charts, and of course, their award-winning fantasy content. Use promo code MVP20 to save 20% on your subscription. And if you're into high stakes and NFL lines like I am, you can also get PFF Elite. That's what I got. So make sure you guys sign up at profootballfocus.com and use promo code MVP20 to save 20%. Join PFF Fantasy today and prepare to win. Also, guys, it'll really help support this channel. Thank you so much. I have Jimmy Garoppolo in a 14-team league, the Couch Subscriber League. And if you're like me or for whatever other reason you're in need of a quarterback, the strategy I'm probably going to implement is streaming quarterbacks. I mean, there's really no other choice here. I like Baker Mayfield because of the upside. He's a bit of an unknown. He's unproven, but he has the attitude. I think he has the competitiveness, that edge to be a quarterback, but there's still risk. We don't know what's going to happen, but I have him number 1 because I like that upside. I like the upside that he might put up a lot of fantasy points. And this week he has a good matchup against the Raiders. This guy's the opposite of being scared. He's the opposite of being conservative. And we can compare him to his teammate, Tyrod Taylor, who doesn't throw a lot of picks, but also doesn't make any plays. And I don't see Baker being that type of guy. I see him making plays, going out there to win the game, make big plays, make those throws, and just go after it. Might make some mistakes like almost all rookies do, but hey, I'm going to live with that. Number 2, who could really be ranked number 1, is Ryan Tannehill. And there's a couple reasons I like him. He's consistent. He's been very good. I severely underrated the Dolphins and Tannehill this year. I mean, the man has won like 9 out of 10 of his last games or something like that. Yeah, something like that. Or 10 of the last 11 games where he started. He is just really good, really consistent. And the other reason I like him is he's facing the Patriots. There are several ways where he can put up a lot of points. Whether it's because you think the Patriots defense is bad, their secondary is bad, their pass defense is bad, or because Tom Brady will put up points. At least that's what Vegas thinks, and they'll have the lead. So Ryan Tannehill will be forced to throw the ball. Or it'll be a balanced attack, an efficient attack. There are just so many ways that Tannehill could come on top for week 4 and later on too. I like him long term. Same thing with Baker Mayfield. Good week 4. Also could be good long term. We're facing against one player in season long leagues, one owner. And these head-to-head matchups, it's really good to have these consistent, reliable players who edge out the win. Yeah, it's awesome to have Patrick Mahomes or somebody who just, puts up a ton of points, like maybe Big Ben at home or something like that. But not all of us have that opportunity. Not all of us drafted Mahomes. Moving on, number 3, Andy Dalton. And the reason I don't have him ranked higher is I just don't trust him as much as other quarterbacks. And AJ Green has a groin injury. So whether he plays or doesn't, AJ Green will likely not be 100% this week. And if he doesn't play, that's a huge downgrade to Andy Dalton. Now, if AJ Green was 100% healthy, I like Andy Dalton a lot. Matt Ryan and the Falcons offense are slated to put up a lot of points. So Andy Dalton is really good. I think any of these 3 quarterbacks, Baker, Tannehill, or Andy Dalton, are very close. And they're all really good pickups. They are not like I would be happy as a Jimmy Garoppolo owner to have any of these 3 guys. Then we're taking a small downgrade here. We're going with Joe Flacco against the Steelers. And I'm going to be honest, it's because of his name. Joe Flacco, he's been very just not entertaining the last couple years, just not putting up big numbers, not taking shots down the field. But this year he's been much better. The offensive line on the Ravens is good. He's been throwing the ball well, throwing the ball downfield sometimes to guys like John Brown. And against the Steelers, could be a sneaky shootout here, so he's decent. I just don't know about starting Joe Flacco. It just worries me. And then we have Case Keenum, who's just very close. Also good, but not a guy I want to trust too much. Going against the Chiefs, opposing quarterbacks have been known to do really, really well because Pat Mahomes puts up points extremely fast. I don't know how many points he's put up in the first quarter. I saw a stat, like 50-something points in the first quarter. And they just get off to a hot start. They always have the lead, and the opposing teams need to throw the ball just about every quarter and try to play catch up to the Chiefs offense. That's why I like Case Keenum. Also, the Chiefs defense, not very good. Then we have number 6, Alex Smith, not a guy you can start this week because they're on bye. By the way, guys, bye week started. Only 2 teams on bye this week. That's the Panthers and Washington. Number 7, Josh Allen. Yeah, he has nobody to throw to, but he's going to need to throw again, facing against Aaron Rodgers. Kind of the same thing with Patrick Mahomes' case. Aaron Rodgers is good. The Packers' offense is good. The Packers are good at home. And what's Josh Allen going to have to do? He's going to have to make plays so they stay even close to the Packers this game. Then we have number 8, Blake Bortles, a guy we can't trust. Number 9, Derek Carr going against the Browns. Browns defense is decent this year. Marcus Mariota has an elbow injury, so keep tabs on that. He doesn't have all the feeling and can't grip the football as well as he'd like to. And then we have number 11, Mitchell Trubisky, who's probably been one of the biggest disappointments this year. I love the Bears coach. I love the Bears offense. I just love the entire team, especially their defense. And if Mitchell Trubisky would stop playing like crap, this Bears team would be Super Bowl contender. So Mitch Trubisky, start playing better. I mean, this just goes to show, as of now, we might see something later on that changes my mind. As of now, that was such an atrocious, horrible trade, to trade everything you got just to move up one spot and get Mitchell Trubisky in the draft when you didn't need to trade at all and you could have just got him at number 3. I like bold moves like that, but at the same time, it wouldn't have been that bad if Mitchell Trubisky didn't suck. And in deeper leagues, we have Josh Rosen and CJ Beathard, who will likely be starting for the 49ers. Thank you guys so much. A couple of weeks ago, I just missed Buck Allen. Like, I should have put him in there, but for some reason, I didn't have him in the video. And if ever that happens, just leave a comment with the player that I missed in the waiver wire. It helps me out, helps everyone else out, and I really appreciate it. Buck Allen needs to be owned in every league. Dare I say, he's a borderline RB1 now. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He's sometimes used in goal line situations. He's really good. And like I talked about the Ravens, they got a good O-line, and their offense is pretty efficient this year. So only owned in a third of leagues, needs to be owned in a lot more leagues. Probably has a little bit more value in PPR leagues compared to, let's say, Alex Collins, who doesn't catch the ball that much. After that, there's really no other running backs to pick up, guys. It's the way it is. But if you're in a competitive league or a deep league, Buck Allen's not going to be available. But I mean, it's just the realistic scenario, and that's why I say running backs are the most scarce position. Specifically, workhorse running backs are the most scarce type of player out there in fantasy football, and that's why we draft running backs early in the drafts. Wendell Smallwood, if Ajayi and Sproles is out. Chris Ivory, if Shady McCoy's out. We saw Chris Ivory was the definite starter for the Bills as a running back when Shady was out. Shady has injured ribs. Then we have Jordan Wilkins and Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines is much better in PPR leagues. In non-PPR leagues, he doesn't hold much value at all. So keep tabs on Marlon Mack's injury. That guy is seemingly always banged up, especially this year. Corey Grant, if Leonard Fournette is out. Doug Martin, I think he's talented. I think he's very skilled. But if Marshawn Lynch is healthy, Doug Martin doesn't have hardly any value. They can run on the Browns, though. I don't think they'll do well, but hey, they have a chance. Browns aren't that good against the running back position. And then we have Ito Smith, the backup running back, the rookie for the Falcons. if Devontae Freeman misses more time. Moving on to wide receivers, Calvin Ridley put up a huge monster game. Will he continue this performance? Well, it's about like right in the middle. I think he'll be good. He's definitely a must add, and he's a spot start. Now that bye weeks have started, he's a good wide receiver 3 or a good flex start or a good bye week fill-in, whatever label you want to give him. He's check that. I have Christian Kirk number 2. This might be a little bit surprising, especially I got Jordy Nelson number 8. Like, what's wrong with me? Here's why. Christian Kirk at number 2, because not necessarily a guy you want to just put in your starting lineup and force him in there this week. No, I wouldn't do that. But upside, long term, there's still a long season left. We only have played 3 weeks. So the last 10 weeks of fantasy football or something, maybe Christian Kirk really becomes that number 2 guy for the Cardinals. Maybe he becomes really good. He has lots of upside. And of course, did I forget to mention, Baker Mayfield is the starting quarterback for the Browns, and Josh Rosen is now the starting quarterback for the Cardinals. I believe the Cardinals offense will be better. Hey, he might throw some picks. He might make some dumb rookie mistakes. But compared to Sam Bradford, you just couldn't get any worse than having Sam Bradford start. And boom, you got Christian Kirk. Just so much upside with this guy. We'll get a lot of targets, I believe. Then we have Tyler Boyd, who's much safer and much better than Christian Kirk as far as being able to start now. This is a guy you can rely on to start now. Wide receiver 2 on the Bengals, and keep tabs on AJ Green, because if he's hurt, we're going to see Tyler Boyd get double-digit targets. Antonio Callaway, that's another risky guy, a guy that's basically a must-add now that Josh Gordon is on the Patriots, but I really like him. He's kind of risky too, because he might drop some passes. He might need to work out with Baker Mayfield more, but I have a feeling come week 6 or something like that, things are going to click for Callaway, and you're going to be sorry you didn't pick him up. He's a deep threat. He's fast. He can get open. He's good. I mean, this is one reason why the Browns did what they did, why they got rid of Josh Gordon, why they got rid of Corey Coleman, sorry. And because now Callaway, I mean, he's the number 2 wide receiver on the Browns. It is what it is. Then we have Geronimo Allison. I could have easily ranked him higher, but I think his skills aren't that good. Like, he's a good wide receiver, don't get me wrong, but he's not like that talented. It's really his quarterback. And his quarterback doesn't have as many options as he once did to throw to. Yeah, he has Jimmy Graham. He has Randall Cobb, who hasn't really been that good lately. Devontae Adams is good. And there's Geronimo Allison. Like, he's going to get targets. It is what it is. And he's got Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. And likely he'll face a lot of cornerbacks that just aren't that good, because they'll focus on stopping Devontae Adams from scoring a touchdown. Then we have Chris Godwin, who's just crazy how much this guy's not added in most leagues. Like, pretty much a must. If you're in a 12-team PPR league, Chris Godwin, a must add. Stash him on your bench at least. Ryan Grant, a guy I had as a sleeper wide receiver coming into the draft and fantasy drafts. He's been doing very well. We know the Colts have to throw the ball. We know Andrew Luck is decent quarterback. We know he will throw the ball regardless. And Ryan Grant, number 2 wide receiver on the Colts on a passing team. Jordy Nelson, I like him. He's good. I think that he'll be good on the Raiders offense. Here's the problem. How much do you guys like Derek Carr? How much do you trust Derek Carr? How many touchdowns do you think the Raiders are going to put up? Would you consider them a high-octane offense? Would you consider them an offense that'll put up a ton of touchdowns? No. That means that only 1 wide receiver, only maybe 2 receivers total each week will do good. This isn't Peyton Manning when you could have started Julius Thomas, Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, whoever else was on that team, like Eric Decker, Wes Welker. It supported 4 receivers. Patrick Mahomes, we got like 3 receivers it can support. Watkins, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. This is not that offense. We will see 1 or 2 wide receivers flourish each week, whether that be Jared Cook or it be Cooper or Jordy Nelson. We're not going to see all 3. All 3 aren't must-starts each week. I mean, they may be must-starts for your team, depending on how your team looks, but it's not an ideal situation. That's why I have him ranked number 8. So he's great to pick up, to add, a great bye week start, but not a guy you're trusting because they just haven't put up enough touchdowns, not enough passing yards, not for my taste. Number 9, Kelvin Benjamin. I guess they have to throw the ball to somebody. Number 10, Taylor Gabriel. Really sneaky pickup here, guys. Anthony Miller is injured. I don't know when he'll be coming back. Seems like a minor injury, but go look that up and see what's up with that. Because if Anthony Miller is out, Taylor Gabriel gets a huge boost. And he's even an okay start if Anthony Miller is in the lineup. Taylor Gabriel has been a vital part of this offense. Mitchell Trubisky, please play better so my boy Taylor can do some more things. Thank you. Number 11, John Ross. We see now he's a number 3 wide receiver, and Tyler Boyd is the number 2. But with A.J. Green out, I'm sure they'll throw some screen passes to John Ross, get him the ball somehow. And in deep leagues, we have Cole Beasley, Cameron Meredith, and this is what I want to talk about. You don't know who's going to go off for the Dolphins. Last week, I had Albert Wilson as a sleeper. Hey, he got one big play, and he ended up producing. Grant, you got Amendola, Devontae Parker's back, Kenny Stills, he's a must-own in every league. So I don't know what's up with these wide receivers. I know what's up with Tannehill, though. Tannehill's legit. Tight ends. I think I was right about Will Dissly and Jesse James, safe to say. So Jesse James is losing snaps to the more athletic Vance McDonald, just better fit to be a receiver. And Will Dissly, look, he's still going to be good while Doug Baldwin is out. He'll still be okay. He'll be more like a tight end 2 when Doug Baldwin's back. Like, I'm not saying he's horrible, but Russell Wilson's going to spread the ball. You know how he plays, right? He's not like, he doesn't sit back in the pocket and just look to throw to a guy. Kind of like how, sometimes Matt Ryan would force feed it to Julio, or Tony Romo back in the day would force feed it to Dez. It's not really his style. He runs around, he buys time, he throws the ball to whoever's open. The plays change, the progressions change. We don't know who's the main guy he's thrown to. That's what's kind of cool about the Seahawks offense. So Will Dissly, you can't really rely on him, although he's not whack, okay? But Jesse James, he's definitely a guy you can't start. A lot of people added him and talked about him. They asked me questions about him. Yeah, he put up big points, but this is the reality, guys. Go get Vance McDonald. I really have high hopes for Hayden Hurst. We talked about this Ravens offense, and I think it's gonna be clear that Hayden Hurst will be the starting tight end for the Ravens. We see guys like Nick Boyle and whoever else Flacco's throwing the ball to. I just feel like Hayden Hurst is so much better than those guys. He is injured, though, so Hayden Hurst might return this week, or he might be out one more week, something like that. Maybe 2 weeks. We don't know, but he should be returning really soon here. Definitely an ad. I always said this is an ad if you have an IR spot. Now he's just an ad if you need a tight end, at least a tight end 2. Guys, go pick up Hayden Hurst, I'm telling you. Then we have Ricky Seals-Jones. I like this guy a lot now that Sam Bradford is out of the mix and Josh Rosen starting. How long will Josh Rosen start? Probably the remainder of the season. Ben Watson, man, this guy's old, but he just keeps getting better and better. Very reliable target for Drew Brees. Doesn't get a lot of separation. Not quite the guy he used to be. Not quite as athletic. Doesn't quite have the burst. But with Drew Brees throwing the ball and the chemistry they have, he's definitely worth an ad. I know a lot of you guys need tight ends. Those of you that drafted Walker or Olsen need a tight end. Then we have Austin Hooper. They don't use him that much, but he's seemed to improve a little bit from last year. And Matt Ryan's playing very well. Dallas Goedert, very interesting ad here. He's basically used as a wide receiver, or just say receiver, while we're waiting on Alshon Jeffrey to come back. And look, if you're in a 10-team league, you probably don't want to add Dallas Goedert. But if you're in a deep league or you're a Zach Ertz owner, this is worth considering, similar to a Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis situation. Maybe you get Dallas Goedert as a handcuff. And if you're in a deep league, maybe you just stash Dallas Goedert. Like, I'm in a 20-team league, and I feel like Dallas Goedert is a must-add. Austin Seferian-Jenkins is not that good, but he's one of the main guys in that offense. Antonio Gates. This is just deep league guys. Antonio Gates, Mike Gesicki, Cameron Brate. We know O.J. Howard's kind of the man now, but you got Cameron Brate there. Jonnu Smith. I don't trust you. And in deeper leagues, we have Vernon Davis, who's on bye, and Rhett Ellison in super duper deep leagues. Like if you're in a 30, you guys out there who are in a 32 team league, look at Rhett Ellison. If Evan Ingram is out. Defenses, I love the Chargers D this week. And even though they're owned in your league likely, some people have dropped them with Joey Bosa out. But man, they're playing my 49ers, and the 49ers are just in shambles. Fire up the Chargers D. I love them. Seahawks defense going against the Cardinals. Just so many ways they can put up points, whether it be sacks, turnovers, stupid mistakes by Josh Rosen, or just keeping this to a low-scoring game, which is very likely. That's why I like the Seahawks defense. Look, they're not good, but they're not bad either. They're like an average defense, I would say, this year. Then we have the Browns D. Lots of upside here going against the Raiders, but a little bit more risky than the other two Chargers and Seahawks defenses that I named. Titans defense, very good, long-term, and decent this week. I don't have a lot of faith starting them against Wentz, but at the same time, it's not like Wentz has his weapon. He doesn't have Alshon Jeffrey yet. He's still a little bit rusty. Eagles offense haven't seemed to score a lot of points since that Super Bowl. So, man, Titans D is legit. They're legit. I love the coach. I love Vrabel. They're very legit. They've shocked me, and I think you should add them if you're in desperate need of a defense. Then we have the Packers defense going against the Bills. The Bills suck. Lions going against Cowboys. That's a good matchup, but do you really trust the Lions D? We're getting into deep league territory here, guys. Cardinals D going against the Seahawks in a low-scoring game. Cowboys D going against the Lions. Jets going against the Jags. Patriots D going against the Dolphins. Vegas has them winning. Dolphins D going against the Patriots. You don't want to do that. I'll tell you that right now. So this is like super duper deep leagues when you have no one else. I just wanted to rank them. And then we have the Raiders going against the Browns. Rookie quarterback. Could be a low-scoring game. Could be messy. If you're starting the Raiders D, though, your season's not looking good in fantasy. Kickers. I was right about like one kicker last week, whoever that was. And I was right about all the kickers for week 1. But really, week 2 and week 3 have been complete failures for me as far as kickers. Here's the message I want to give out to you guys. The Vikings team is looking really weird right now. Everson Gifford is being checked out for mental health issues, so we don't know what's up with him, what's his status. I wish him the best, man. I wish him, wish him to be healthy, wish his mind is right, wish he gets his life right. Wish the best for him, but it leaves question marks for the Vikings. I really don't know what's going on. I thought Dan Bailey would be good last week because they faced the Bills. I would urge you still keep Dan Bailey. He does not have a good matchup against the Rams, but it's not necessarily a horrible matchup either. Just keep him. He's a good kicker. It's hard to believe that the Vikings completely fell off. I still think they'll be a decent team. And with the Rams banged up in the secondary, Dan Bailey should be good. So I urge you, do not drop Dan Bailey unless there's an amazing kicker to pick up. I wouldn't drop Dan Bailey. So this week, my favorite kicker is Caleb Sturgis. He's a decent kicker. He's accurate. He's good. Not great as far as talent goes, but he has an incredible matchup against the Niners. Aldrick Rosas, my kicker in the 20-team league, has been just on fire. I can't believe I was able to get him that late. He's a super sleeper. Nobody really knows who he is. And now that the Giants made that switch on the offensive line, benching their right tackle, hey, they're pretty good. And this game should have a lot of field goals, a lot of extra points, a lot of scoring. Both teams driving up and down the field. The Giants are facing the Saints, and he's pretty accurate. Kaimi Fairbairn, the Texans kicker, going against the Colts. And on the opposite side of the field, Adam Vinatieri, a guy you can trust, going against the Texans. Josh Lambo going against the Jets. Matt Prater, pretty good kicker, going against the Cowboys. I just see the Lions team settling for field goals a lot this year. And then a guy who still has quite the leg, but not much accuracy, Sebastian Janikowski of the Seattle Seahawks, going against the Cardinals. I will be reading the comments below, and I'll pick a random comment and give a free PFF Edge subscription to one of the random comments on this video. I just wanted to give you guys my video schedule. So Tuesdays we're doing waivers, Tuesday afternoons. Wednesday evenings around 9:30 p.m. Eastern, we're doing live stream, hashtag Hack My Lineup, the best live show in fantasy sports. Then Thursdays, we're on our second channel, so make sure you subscribe to the second channel, Fantasy Couch Podcast. We do a podcast, a live video stream on our second channel right after the Thursday night football game. Fridays, we're back here doing DFS picks, and Saturday afternoon or Saturday early evening around 6:30 p.m. Eastern roughly, we're back on this channel doing an awesome live stream. We're doing weekly snake draft. So guys, make sure you subscribe to this channel by hitting the couch icon. It'll pop up here someplace. Make sure you subscribe to the second channel, like the video or dislike it. It's up to you guys. Use promo code MVP20 on Pro Football Focus to save 20%, and I'll see you guys on the next video.